Discipline Stoners!
The gateway drug to mindfulness.
Gateway drug to mindfulness. Let's roll one up and take a hit. Gateway drug to mindfulness. Let's roll one up and take a hit.
Welcome back to another episode of Discipline Stoners. I'm your host, 11. Winnie's sitting this one out, but lucky I have my homie Phil here, who is a serial entrepreneur, an exciting creative guy, and we are going to unpack lots about business, life, and just having a good time. So, Phil, get your joints up. Or no, hold on, you don't have a joints, guys. Get your joints up, get your edibles, your drinks, whatever. We're about to have a great conversation. Put your hands together and joints up for my boy, Phil.
Thank you for having me. This sounds fun. Yeah, I love cannabis, but obviously there's a time and place for that in my life. It might be a little bit too early for me, but maybe who knows?
Yo, so tell us about your life. Like in terms of like you are an entrepreneur. And sorry, I didn't say your last. I was just like my boy Phil, but it's Kluba, right?
Phil Kluba.
Kluba, yeah.
Kluba.
Amazing.
Yeah, I'm glad you figured that one out.
Yeah.
People mix that up sometimes, but it's cool. Yeah, so I don't know. I'm primarily in the media business. So I run a media production company called Press It. I actually had a lot of success during the beginning of the pandemic due to virtual events. I started doing live streaming in about 2016. So when the lockdowns started, a lot of people needed a way to connect, and I was providing those solutions. And then I got introduced to an individual named Michael Landsberg. He used to be on TSN. Used to have a show called Off the Record. And then we did a daily mental health talk show, remote. I was bringing all the signals in. We had like Director X on, Mitch Marner, a whole slew of people. We did 60 episodes, and then that kind of working with Michael was amazing. I learned a lot, and that kind of like made the snowball go. And then I don't know. Now it's just I don't even know what goes on half the time.
That's incredible,
I'm like,
man.
what's happening?
That sounds
Yeah.
so you sound like one of the folks that took a good turn in the beginning of the confusion that was going on, and you adapted. What are some of the live streaming services and ideas that you provided? Like, what are some of those problems that you've solved? Because I know as a creator, I find it challenging to sometimes live stream, and we're going to collaborate on something. But please, could you elaborate on those kind of ideas that you were good at, that you were able to adapt in that?
Yeah, so at the time it was like I was bringing in feeds, like essentially like I was doing what like a broadcast channel would do. So like
Right.
let's say if you're watching CP24 or anything like that, I was bringing in these feeds remotely, like putting graphics on. We were throwing to like video. So like I would just add production value to a basic Zoom call, I guess, and then it would be broadcasted to Facebook or YouTube or multiple platforms. Also during that time, I got hired by National Canadian Film Day because they had to go virtual. So we made that whole thing go virtual, and we had guests like Sandra Oh on that, Ethan Hawke, a whole slew of people. It was pretty wild.
Dude, that's awesome. That's so much fun. So are you operating these on platforms like OBS or what does that look like?
It varies depending on what we're doing. Like obviously in an in-person scenario, I would use hardware, but how hardware on a remote scenario is pretty darn expensive. So I took a little step up from OBS, and since I use Mac, I use a software called Wirecast. And it lets, like, even right now I'm using Wirecast, so it lets me do like cool things like this, and you can hear an echo and stuff like that. But that's just a small basic thing. But it lets me bring feeds in. Like I added a little bit of contrast to this shot. Yeah, so that's the software I'm using, and right now I'm just like running it through a Sony A6500. I'm using a lav microphone, and I have like this $30 in-ear that I bought at Best Buy.
Oh my God, I love it. And it looks so much more professional and such more streamlined system, and you kind of just figured it out. Were you always good at tech stuff? Like you kind of had a leg up because Well, what was your job before you started your own company, or did you ever have one? Are you always work for yourself type
I've
way?
never had a job. I've always worked for myself. Maybe I did the Uber thing for like a little bit. Like I
Oh
was driving
yeah.
Uber around, which was a lot of fun actually. And I met my mechanic that way, which was I don't know. You meet a lot of people when you're
Yeah.
like Ubering around.
Yeah.
So, but no, I've always had a passion for technology. I think like even when I was like younger, it was always like music and technology. So then I don't know, like when I was younger, I would always like take computers apart, repatch them back into things, and
So you're
build new
lucky.
things out of them.
Yeah, you're lucky that
Um,
you were fascinated with something.
yeah, I was very lucky to be fascinated with computers because everyone like that's the way things are going now.
Yeah.
So yeah, and it's always like I started live streaming in 2016, and I remember I was pitching people in 2019 about live streaming and virtual events, and they were like, "No one's ever gonna use this." And then the pandemic came around, and I'm like, "Joke's on you!" Like everyone
Dude,
needs this now.
you were holding the
And
keys.
through honestly, it was like just being prepared and then like luck. Like I guess like isn't that what opportunity is? Like
Yeah, when preparation
being
meets
opportunity or something
opportunity.
like that.
Yeah.
But like now, like I'm also like fascinated by tech stuff. So like lately, I've been really trying to get connected to the world with these guys, like the Oculuses
Awesome. Yep.
and stuff like that. So I've been trying to build environments in there. I build some environments for people to meet in and talk and stuff like that
Yeah.
on certain
The
platforms.
metaverse. We're
And
talking
that
about the
whole
metaverse.
yeah, the metaverse. Like it's been coined the metaverse, but like if I think about it, it's just basically video games. But now that adults are in it, they had to like call it something else,
Bro,
right? I feel like it's just like a rebrand.
we're fabricating the fourth dimension. Like we exist on
Yeah.
Instagram, thinking about each other, on Twitch, interacting, all these live stream platforms. It's the fourth dimension, and we just got to name it something. And it's like the metaverse comes with the whole. I don't know. I think people are a little bit scared, like this whole like Meta and Facebook and the Great Reset and all this like meta double layered, all this like new direction, technology. NFTs came out of nowhere, like just like a year and a half ago, kind of thing. And I've been
But
reading up and learning on that, but like there's a lot of exciting movement in this kind of next level of
yeah,
intellectual.
I can go off about on this stuff for like a while, but like
Please.
especially with like the NFT stuff, like obviously right now they're like selling monkey pictures of monkeys and stuff, but there is a lot of like tangible assets to like an NFT. Like you can put anything in as an NFT, a contract, for example. Like you want a
A
binding
realty
contract, it's like,
contract. Yeah.
hey, yeah, and it's like this is already in like it's on a blockchain and it's been verified by the blockchain community. This is legal, and this is like what you're bound to. Like you could put a contract as an NFT, or there's so many other use cases to NFTs than what it's being used as right now.
Yeah.
And I'm just like excited to see how all that unfolds.
Yeah.
Additionally, like I don't know, it's just super fast. Every week is just like something new. Like recently, I pay for like the $3 Twitter Blue account now.
Mm-hmm.
So it's $3 a month, but it lets you see the new features, and one of them is putting an NFT in. Sorry, this person's texting me. Sorry, it's on pause. Putting an NFT as your display photo.
Right.
So I
Yeah,
was
I
just
saw
like
that.
curious how that works. And yeah, and it's
You
pretty
have
fun.
to verify it. So
Just
it's like yours, like your back end, like you need the barcode and you have to confirm ownership or something like that. And
yeah.
then
So
only you
essentially,
can have it.
yeah. So it's like that. Well, you can do how many number of duplicates are of this NFT.
Right.
For example, for this one, I did one, and it was like a photo of me that I kind of just glitched out. And then I just threw it onto my wallet. I sunk up my Twitter account with my Coinbase wallet, and then you're able to just upload it. So now when you click on that NFT or like my display photo, it shows the address, who created it, who owns it. There's like a lot of
Where are you
digital
publishing?
identity,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
stuff there.
There's interesting conversation there because as we go towards decentralized digitalization of our identity, the government does a little spin off with its little digital ID idea. And they're two very different things with a similar texture to their idea of the concept of what they are, but not necessarily their function. Having a wallet means that you're free from a financial institution. Phil just mentioned his Coinbase wallet. I have a MetaMask wallet, a Coinbase wallet, a Mycelium wallet. You can open all the accounts you want, but if you forget your key, I'm starting at the basics here, Phil, for some folks who may be tuning in who know nothing about NFTs. And it's essentially a whole evolution of the collectibles world, of the digital age, of placing value on a non-physical thing. And it all ties into the technology that was birthed by Bitcoin, the blockchain.
Yeah, exactly. That's totally true. But like it also reminds because like where like the metaverse is also considered as Web 3.0.
Right.
So if you think about it, Web 3.0 is very similar to Web 1.0. So like when the dot-com boom started, it was very decentralized. Like you were able to bootleg anything, Napster, this, that, all this stuff. Now and then Web 2.0 came around and it was a little more centralized. So like right now in this Web 3.0 era, it's going to be like the wild, wild west, and you're going to be able to do like a lot of whatever you want. But over time, all this stuff will be centralized again.
Well, it's already happening. I just got a message from Coinbase. I think you probably got it last week too. If you say,
they're like upload things or something.
Well, they're making you do your two-factor authentication constantly now to make sure that it's you and your identity, so you haven't like off-sold your wallet to anyone else, and so they can track your capital gains, of course. But really, they want to know if you're sending like lots of money, because now if you send more than $1,000 worth of Ethereum or Bitcoin or whatever, you have to explain who you're sending it to and for what.
I know.
So it's like, this is
that's
turning into a bank. Fuck! I need to get like.
Do you have a cold wallet, like an offline wallet?
Like my
so like I have a ledger, and that's kind of where I just keep my savings. Essentially, it's like having your own bank. If you think about it, like this is my bank.
And it's on the blockchain. It's fucking great, because if it's in the exchange and the exchange goes down, that's just like having your money in a bank and the bank goes down.
Yeah. You remember have you ever used Quadriga, like that exchange?
No.
Okay, so it was an old exchange that just like completely folded and people just lost all of their money. And
I'm trying to transfer right now.
I think it was a Canadian exchange too, and that's why I just don't trust these exchanges. Except like I feel like Coinbase has some security because it is a publicly traded company as well.
Right.
So you can buy like Coinbase stock, and I think they have some insurance policies that will help on that front.
Yeah, but like still, it's just like, why risk it? I'm gonna just move it. But you know, it costs gas. So say you have $1,000 in Bitcoin and you send it to your wallet. Amidst the fluctuation in the exchange rate, because say my Mycelium wallet uses the Binance is the reference it uses for what it displays. I think MetaMask, I can't remember, but I'm only holding Ethereum in that wallet. So between the exchange rate, there's a fluctuation, but also the gas fee just to send it from your exchange holdings to your cold wallet, as Phil put it, you could lose $50, $100 maybe. What do you think? Transfer $1,000?
It depends on what currency you transfer through, because obviously certain currencies have less transaction rates, like lower transaction rates. So I know Ethereum, like depending on like what's going on the Ethereum blockchain, like it could just be like astronomical at that one moment. That's a kind of like a variable one. Yeah. So the thing about Ripple, I think Ripple is trying to be like a constant, like it's always going to be the same.
Yeah.
Because that was their whole purpose of creation, was to substitute SWIFT transactions.
Right. The bank.
And then. Yeah, the bank SWIFT transactions, which is basically transferring money internationally. Like traditionally, you would have to use a SWIFT. You would have to have a SWIFT number, but I think now they're trying to pivot into Ripple. But Ripple has that whole lawsuit thing going on, which I think is going to like fold soon.
Yeah.
And they'll be like an American piece of technology.
Right. Do you get into stocks and stuff like that? Like Robinhood did its whole GameStop thing. That was wild.
Yeah, I was like following that. I'm like as soon as it's out in the news, I'm kind of like, okay, well, I missed that because it's
Exactly.
always like buy the rumor, sell the news.
Yes. Yeah.
I did get pretty lucky though. Like I guess like the only thing because like at the start of the pandemic, I was using a lot of Zoom calls, so I was like, I'm gonna invest in Zoom. And then that thing went up, and then that basically based my whole portfolio for stocks. Like I basically took those earnings and then spread it across multiple things. Like I got into
Tesla.
the psychedelics market, like psilocybin market, like mind
Mushrooms.
med stuff like that,
Yes.
mushrooms. And then obviously like recently there was like a huge like just like drop in all stocks in general.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Rough start of the year.
rough start of the year. But yeah, obviously, like I've just been like space stocks, like Rocket Lab, Virgin Galactic, and then like tech stocks. I invested in Twitter because of like what I see what Twitter is doing. Obviously, Facebook because of like the whole metaverse play.
Mm.
What else do I have in my portfolio? I don't know,
Apple,
a whole bunch of
Tesla.
things. I don't hold any Tesla actually. I'm just like the thing, but I heard they're going to do a reverse stock split or something like that, and then so it's going to be a little cheaper to buy in,
Cool.
which will be helpful for
Wow.
people looking for that.
So I always I'm the entrepreneur between me and Win in the way that I like to think. And it's not just because the ceiling to make money is much higher in usually even a shorter amount of time than an employee job. It's the creative control for me, and it's the attitude of the willingness to take your losses. Um, there's a bunch of shitty stuff that goes along with being an entrepreneur too, where you really got to thug it out at the beginning and do a lot of skeleton work yourself, and acquisition and stuff that you don't have to deal with as an employee. But what encouraging words can you offer to those trying to start their sole proprietorship? Because
Um,
you have done this successfully, and that's valuable perspective.
yeah, so it definitely took me a while. Like it took me 7 years to like actually like make something really like being like viably like living off of it.
Yeah.
But it's never been about the money though. Like
Yeah.
that I think like if you get into this thinking it's about the money, then maybe just get a job because then you'll be secure with having a salary.
Mm.
It's about just like for me it's about like legacy, making a difference, and it's like that's basically what drives me. And I think if you want to pursue this, like have a larger goal than like something bigger than yourself. I think
Yes.
that's the reason you'll keep doing this. Like for example, like even like my approach, like this has nothing to do. Maybe it has a little bit to do with entrepreneurship, but I took a break from drinking completely for about like 2 years or so.
Hmm.
And but the goal there wasn't like, hey, I want to quit drinking. There was a larger goal at hand, and I saw that these hangovers and all this other stuff was just like an obstacle in order to getting to the larger goal. So as long as you have something bigger ahead, you won't be torn down by the roller coasters of entrepreneurship because it is a literal roller coaster. Like even daily, like it's
Yeah,
like it's just like
totally,
up
dude.
and down. It's like, oh, I'm
Oh,
having a great day, and it's like, oh shit, everything just went completely a different direction now.
yeah.
But yeah.
But yeah, you got to be ready for that sort of fluctuation and have the maturity to stay focused and move forward through the pain. What is that? That what? Why that passion that drives you? The idea behind that. Have you identified that for you? Like, do you know how your current business lines up with what your goal is that you want to set here and leave here?
So essentially, I got into video production primarily because it opens doors. Everyone needs videos, and then through that, I made a lot of connections, and I made a lot of friends, and then like I can just explore with any idea I want to do. But essentially, for me, it's just like about helping people.
Yeah.
If I could like just help people all day and like have enough money, then I would do that.
Yeah.
But I do have to make a living as well because I have like overhead costs and being able to do these kinds of things. But
Yeah.
as long as I know that people are being helped, I feel pretty good. And then like technological innovation always excites me. So if I could be at the forefront of that, That's always been exciting for me.
And you found those crossroads where you could
Yeah, it's like
do both
and then
the
I don't
things you
know.
enjoy.
Yeah, do both the things, and then obviously I still love creativity and music, and like sure I'll write some songs here and there. Well, for me, it's just like about freedom, I guess. Like it's like just being able to do whatever I want, but like obviously I try to have kindness and good intention with everything that I approach.
Yes, yes, and I definitely feel that from you, and that's a beautiful thing. It's like it's heart-centered living, but it can be smart as fuck when it comes time to do the production.
No, honestly, like karma's a real thing, and I think being a good person always works out in the long run. So there's been opportunities where I could have like took a shortcut. I could have done this, but I just didn't feel ethically good about it and stuff like that. And obviously, it's taken me longer to get where I wanted to get, but it's obviously been more fulfilling. And for example, if like this success was coming to me, or like if you want to consider it success, was while I was not drinking. For example, if I was drinking and I was having the success, maybe I would have went too far that direction.
Totally.
So it came at a good time. I think everything happens for a reason, and I just try to trust the universe. So I'm also like very spiritual about all this stuff
I
as
was
well.
just gonna ask, this is beautiful. Do you meditate?
Yeah, I try to, but like my brain's always just like so
Yeah.
like I need to like figure out a way to like
Yeah.
it's always like the devices. It's like get this phone away from me for a little while.
Absolutely.
That's probably the most helpful way.
Or use it, or because we put on the guided meditations right away every morning. We do a guided meditation. Winnie's doing silent ones now, but you can just do frequencies. But yeah, wow, I'd love to see what you'd cook up as with the discipline of meditation. But you're already so grounded in the heart, which is so lovely. Congrats on that.
Oh, I appreciate those kind words. I did actually find a meditation app in the Oculus, and it just like takes you on this like calm journey, which I was doing for a little while, and then I forgot about it. Like I don't know, it's like
But you got
I
to close your
definitely have a
eyes.
good. You got to close your eyes. Yeah.
It's because you the third eye will engage when you're resting these optic nerves. So it's like you have three optic nerves attached to the core center of your brain, and two come here, and one stops in the middle, and it's the third eye. And if you've been living in the
Cool.
Western world, it's calcified, and no doubt. So when you start meditating and you close your eyes, you can feel it start to like try to open a little bit, and then after a while, maybe like a couple weeks or a month or so, you can start to feel it like crack open, and it's an incredible feeling. You can feel it right up through here. But has cannabis been a part of your journey to find this grounded perspective?
Uh, Cannabis has been part of my journey for like a while. I'm definitely more of a sativa individual. I think like I like smoking some weed and then going on a walk and like thinking about things and like just like brain stimulating stuff. And then and it's also a good trigger for creativity, like jotting down ideas and stuff like that. I don't think I'm very good at actually doing tasks like actually like working on stuff,
Right.
but it is a good thing to like unwind when I have the time to unwind, and then just like jot some ideas down and then
Oh,
revisit them with a different mindset.
for sure. We love that. We celebrate that so much. We always talk about that. Not everyone is Snoop Dogg who wakes up and smokes like me, indica right away. It's like when you find it as a tool, when it's appropriate in your life and it makes a beautiful harmony, that's beautiful. So congrats to you for finding
Yeah,
that
so I just try to control it. Like I would probably join you, but consider it's pretty early still, and I could probably get a work call at any time, and I just don't want to be like,
right.
right.
And you know how it affects you, so you're responsible with that, and you give yourself
Yeah.
the time to embrace it and enjoy it when it's right. I love that.
Yeah, I think most of life is just trying to understand yourself. Like, it's like, I think a lot of people spend a lot of time trying to understand the things around them, but you literally have no control over that. So it's
Preach.
best to understand yourself, because that's the only thing you have control over.
Everything is
And
perception.
yeah, and it's just perception, and it's like why be bothered by certain things? It's like I'm not bothered by this. Like I always have like issues with like relationships, because like girls would be like, "Why aren't you jealous?" I'm like, "This is not something I want." Like it's like, "Do you not care?" I was like, "No, I care. It's just like I'm not gonna like
torture myself.
go over the top over something because like you talk to some dude or whatever. I'm like,
Yeah.
I have better things to focus on, and I'm pretty confident in myself. I know what I offer to the world. I'm not that dude, and if you like me, then you like me. So it's always been. I don't know why I brought that up. Maybe it's a recent thing that I've gone through.
That's
However,
beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. No, we talk about how it manifests in everyday life, and that's true.
yeah. So it's
Hello.
Did I lose you or did I lose myself?
Oh, now we're back.
Oh, sorry.
I think
I
you
had a
lost
little.
yourself.
I had a little glitch.
Yeah, we're good.
Oh, your internet connection is unstable. It's saying. Probably should have plugged in, but I'll deal with Wi-Fi for now.
Okay, it's all good. I think we're doing well. Do you read?
I'm not the greatest reader, but I do have Audible, and I'll listen to things. But I do value read. I used to read, and I remember that was very meditative. So
Listen,
it
read.
like
I listen, read like a lot, like
yeah.
audiobooks. Yeah. What are you cooking up right now? What are you reading, listening to now?
So for a while there, I was like, I don't know what the book was called, but it was like Teach, Tailor, Conquer or something like that. It's about like sales tactics.
Nice.
And then obviously, I just recently bought Ready Player One because obviously the movie's great, but I heard the book was a lot better. And just to further understand the metaverse, because the things that are being covered in Ready Player One, like even in the movie, the first half of the movie is like fantastic, like good educational thing to watch if you want to learn about the metaverse. But then the second half becomes like super Hollywood, like let's throw in a love story here and like all this other stuff,
Right.
which obviously, yeah, it is great for movies. Every story is basically based around love.
Yeah, it helps reach that demographic again. Like the same folks who'd
Yeah.
be watching Aladdin can now watch this and learn about the metaverse.
Yeah.
That's huge, man. That's cool. So, yeah, I like reading like sales tactic books like that too and understanding. Did you read Growth Hacker?
No, I've never read that, but maybe I should throw that into my Audible list of books.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. It works with. He talks closely about the story of the guys who started Dropbox and how they like grew their base by giving away like the 2 gigabytes, that Dropbox would give away, and they used email marketing pretty much exclusively, and like just like talk about like being consistent and stuff like that. And it's a very short book, but like yeah, I love like sales books and success
Yeah, I'll check that
stories.
out. I love short books. Also, have you ever heard of the app Speechify?
No, I don't think so. Maybe,
So
but I smoke a lot of
it's
weed.
a great app. You just like any article you're like reading on the internet or like whatever, you just like throw it into this thing and it just like reads it for you.
Oh,
So
AI is happening.
yeah, it reads it for you. And it's great because like I think we live in an era where like there's so many things happening and we do always have to be multitasking. So if you want to like digest something while doing something else, this is a fantastic way to do it.
You see how we're so stimulated all the time, eh? It's like when you're painting your walls, you can literally read a book at the same time. It's incredible.
Yeah, and that's the thing. And that's why there was like that like remember Clubhouse for like a second there?
Yep.
It was like super and I think that's because you're able to multitask. You're able to like communicate and be social with people while also doing something else.
Definitely. Yeah. I was freestyling on so many Clubhouse groups with like people in them, and fuck, man, that was fun. I met this guy on Clubhouse called Chad who's doing these like live streams through Twitch that are like in the metaverse house. I think I mentioned
Like
to you
Shad, the Canadian rapper Shad, or
no, Chad XO
oh
or
Chad.
Yeah, Chad.
Yeah.
Shad. Yeah, there's a rapper from Vancouver. Yeah, Shad. But no, Chad. And he like makes beats and speeds them up and slows them down, and I was freestyling on Clubhouse. It was fun. Clubhouse is a nice little
Nice.
community. It moved to Twitter Spaces though, eh?
Yeah, Twitter Spaces is another thing now. Clubhouse was fun. I actually met Deadmau5 on Clubhouse.
That
It was
rhymes.
pretty funny because I have a friend, Chrissy Newton. She's like a publicist, and she was getting invited to all these clubhouses, and then she was like, "Come to this one. Deadmau5 is here." She brings me in, and this was during a time where I was So I invested in shroom companies. So I really wanted to know what I was investing in. So I was like shrooming a lot.
I
So we were
shroomed
in
a lot
lockdown. It
last
was
year too.
Yeah, it was like lockdown, winter time, and then I'm talking to Deadmau5 about it all, and he's like, "You sound like a drug addict," and I was like, "You just called me a drug addict?" But then I think he was just joking. But then he told us some lovely stories, and then he told me to go on his mom's website where she makes art and stuff, nancyzimmerman.com. And yeah, and
Shout
then he
out
plugged his
Deadmau5's
mom, and
mom. And that
he,
plug
and it
lives
was,
on here.
and that plug lives on here. Check out nancyzimmerman.com. She makes art.
Yeah, and they're Toronto, right? Like he lives here. He has a
Yeah, I
place
think
here.
I think definitely Canada for sure.
I know he had a place
Maybe
here, I believe.
Ontario,
Yeah.
just a little out of here, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. Fuck man, good times. What did you grow up in Toronto? Ralph, did you grow up in
Yeah, I
Toronto?
grew up in Toronto. I grew up in like the Etobicoke area. Um, I'm not sure if you know where like Mimico is.
Yeah, yeah, it's beautiful near the water, right?
Yeah, near the water, and I'm not actually too far from there now either. So
Sweet.
it's been home.
Beautiful. Yeah, that's a sweet area. Man, Toronto's a beautiful city. Congratulations.
Thank you, thank you. Did you grow up in Toronto?
No, I grew up in Vancouver.
Oh, that's also a pretty cool place. But I had a very bad experience in Vancouver.
Yeah, most people do.
Um, I didn't know what East Hastings was until I knew
Oh,
what East Hastings was.
yeah. My teenage friends were working there. You know what I mean? Oh boy, there's lots to sell.
Yeah.
It's dirty and dark, and lots of people get robbed there. It's like a
Yeah, I had
zombie
like a
land.
bed bug experience like near there. And
Oh,
then I like on my way, I actually got like hired to do a live stream for the ocean cleanup project. So it was like the first time um, ocean got cleaned, plastic got cleaned out of the ocean and brought to shore. So there was like a presser, and I was doing the live stream, and I didn't like in the area. I tried to find like a cheap hotel, and I didn't really know what East Hastings was. And
yes.
then I'm like, I found all these bites on my body, and I was like, this is 100% bed bugs.
Oh
Before I got on the flight,
no!
before I got on the flight back, I just like threw all my clothes out, bought new ones, and like,
Oh, good.
and thankfully and then even when I got back, I just like fried everything in the dryer,
Yeah.
and obviously it didn't spread. So, but since
Fucking
that moment, I've
rats.
just been like, I can't.
They're disgusting. I got fucking bed bugs in Vancouver too. That shit was fucked up, man. There's nothing creepier than that. That's like what vampires are based off of.
Yeah,
Fuck.
and then like for like weeks, you're just like, I
Paranoid.
feel like there's things crawling on me,
Yeah.
and but there's
Oh,
nothing crawling on
what
you,
is that
and it's all
sensation?
yeah.
Oh, fuck. Weird. It's crazy how the brain recreates stuff like that, eh?
Yeah, and like there's nothing on me, and I'm just like, oh my God, is there a bed
Yeah.
bug? And then as soon as I like, it's like, is that a bite? Is that a bite? You're just like going. I was
Yeah.
going like I was paranoid for a couple weeks.
I know, totally. Yeah, like God help if you have like a little fucking blemish or anything, or even a pimple. You're like, no
Yeah, and
red
you're going
dots
insane.
whatsoever. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
funny as fuck. Nah, Vancouver's not so bad, but like it's a little blah, to be honest. It's just a little blah. It's like super good place to go retire, to go chill, go like if you just don't want to do anything. It's like fucking right on. Just chill the fuck out. Like move there in your if you've never been there, move there in like your 70s. Like not even your
yeah,
60s, like your 70s. Yeah.
yeah. I might push it to my 80s.
Yeah.
Or like,
You know what? Fucking
yeah,
don't move there. It moves somewhere hot. It actually rains a lot.
yeah.
But I got to give a shout out to the picture that you put behind you, cuz that movie was such a big part of my life growing up in Vancouver.
I'm glad you know the reference because
One dog goes this way, the other dog goes that way. Big time part in
and
Goodfellas.
look at this guy. He's looking at you like, what do you
He's
want?
like, what do you want from me? You got a nice white head of hair. So good,
Just like
man.
someone we know, just like someone we know. And then it like
Oh,
pans to
it
the
does look like him.
and
Mom,
then
I
it
got
pans to the
the
car.
car. He's like, I gotta board this knife. I hit a deer. It's a sin. I gotta, you know.
Yeah.
But it's like cut to. He's like fucking finishing the guy off.
Yeah,
Oh,
and
man.
that's literally Scorsese's mom holding
Yeah.
that painting. He put her in there.
That's brilliant. I love that. I put my mom in a short film. Would you put your mom in a film?
Yeah.
Have you?
With
Yeah.
the no, I've never done that.
No.
it would probably take a lot of convincing for her.
She
'Cause
shy?
she's like, oh, how do I look? She'll be a little shy. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So
Cute.
it'd always be about like appearance and whatnot.
Sweet. Well, that's cute. So what are you working on now? What's in the oven with your company right now?
Obviously, I'm pushing in the metaverse stuff. I picked up a few new clients that are fun, which is kind of how we reconnected because I was doing some like streeters for I guess I'm not gonna say the exact name, but we could probably say
He was
it's
doing
a
on
car
location.
selling app.
Yeah.
It's a car marketplace, I guess. And that was a lot of fun, and that's how we reconnected.
I
So
was like,
that's
hey,
been taking up
Phil.
some time. It's been taking up some time, and obviously some music videos, and then some like sports stuff because like the playoffs are coming up.
Right.
And lately, and then some fashion stuff just came in. I don't know. It's like
Fun. Just creating.
it's constantly, yeah,
That's
just creating.
that's fucking awesome, man. That's a beautiful thing. Well, I usually read a piece. It's called "Do the Tao," and I pull from a book. But do you have any books around, or no?
No, I don't have any books around per se.
Okay.
Honestly, I've just been like, you know, I've been reading like Matrix dialogue, like the Matrix movies dialogue,
Brilliant.
because there's actually some deep stuff in there that
Yeah.
I guess gets like missed.
What are you finding? Because it's prophecies, isn't it? What are you finding?
Yeah, and like even like for example, when like all those Agent Smiths show up, it's like purpose that defines us, purpose that
Yeah.
binds us, purpose and it's just like, and I'm like, yeah, this is true. I agree. And then and then it's like the world that's been put over your eyes to blind you from reality or something. Like Morpheus is talking. There's like another one,
Yeah.
and then obviously that French guy where he was like choice is an illusion, made by made by those with power and those without, for those without, or something
Yeah.
like that. There's a lot of good one-liners in there if you search it.
I love that. I want to talk about the Agent Smith saying purpose defines us,
Yeah, it is purpose that defines us. Yeah,
right?
and that's true.
But do you see the double level kind of meta commentary on that? The fact that it's Agent Smith saying that like
Yeah.
they're the replicatable, replaceable, non-individualized, systematic work for the power that be suit.
Yeah,
It's like they're
that's
saying
interesting, but
that
that
their
he
existence is function only. Is that what that commentary means? Or is that a representation
so
of
this
humans? What does that mean?
so
What do you
so this is when it happens, when this is in the Matrix Reloaded, so it's the second movie, and
okay.
it's when Neo and Agent Smith meet in that little lot, and then he fights like 1,000 Agent Smiths.
That's when he does
But
the
it's basically like yeah, he has like the pole, he's like beating them and stuff. But because he shows up and he's like, it is purpose that defines us, and then another Agent Smith shows up, purpose that binds us, purpose and it's like a list of like what purpose is. But that's like why, that's when like Agent Smith was freed from the Matrix, and he's like starting to like take over it, and he's like, because in the first movie when he killed him, some overwrite happened, and he got like freed from the bounds of the Matrix.
but he's still chasing Neo?
Still, well, I don't know what he was chasing at that point. I keep forgetting what happens in those movies, but because in the third one he's already gone into the real world, and he's also like hacking that thing, and then that's when like the machines and Neo like partner to be like, you gotta like take out Smith because he's like hacking everything.
Okay.
And then I watched the fourth one, and it was pretty bad. And I'm like, what is even going on? Like, just recently, it came out in December or whatever.
Yeah, I watched it. Yeah, I went and saw the premiere with the WB with my buddy Matt. It was pretty cool. Keanu was there. He spoke.
Yeah. Honestly, I think they purposely made it a joke, because even at the end of the movie, like Trinity looks at the camera and he's like, what we're asking for is a second chance. And I was like, because they're like doing this whole play on like, okay, spoilers, but they're doing like the whole play that they're working for Warner, and they're like Warner Bros and stuff, and like the movies that they made were the Matrix movies in this new like Do you remember? Like, did you watch the movie? Like, you were there, right? Like, you were at the premiere. You just said
Yeah, I
you
watched
don't
it.
remember.
I'm not connecting what you just said, but maybe because I smoked a tremendous amount of weed. Short-term memory loss is a real thing. I caught a lot of bangers from this last one. There was some fairly good commentary. Um, was there a video game made in it?
Yeah, they made like a video game based off the Matrix,
Yeah,
and basically Neo, like in this new, like, well, he's obviously Mr. Anderson, Thomas Anderson, because he's
yeah.
back in the Matrix and plugged in, and it's kind of like um,
Right, he's in the world.
he invented these games, and they're like the same, and it's basically his past life, and he doesn't understand that, and
So
they're
it's
giving
like
him pills.
yeah, he was just dumped in this new simulation pretty much. But his
Yeah,
association with Trinity at the coffee shop, and then at the end when all the cops are there, like there's some interesting symbolism going on in that narrative about like choosing to see or not, like choosing to like see that it's a matrix or just complying with your safe life. Like I think that there was
yeah. So
some
maybe
bars
I
in
need to
that
watch it
respect.
again because I was like, it was like the start was like great, and then it just like took like a turn, and I was like, there's like bodies flying everywhere and like falling down, and I'm like, what is actually going on here? But yeah,
Right. Yeah. They did kind of split the domestication of him in like this coffee shop, small city matrix narrative and this like multi-dimensional, like Jada Pinkett Smith was in there, like as that older OG like
yeah.
character.
So
Like
she,
that
yeah,
was
yeah, yeah,
wild. That was crazy.
yeah. She
Anyway,
played a
goes,
big role in the other movies as well.
yeah, for sure. Guys, go watch, I guess, the new Matrix movie and make up your own mind. But, dude, what are you saying?
I don't know. I was because like we brought up Jada Pinkett Smith, and like she's been in the news lately, and I'm just like, okay, yeah, right. I've because the whole Oscars thing with Will Smith.
I know that was incredible. He just got up and
Um,
smacked him in the face.
at
And
first I
then,
was like, is this staged? Is it not staged? I was like, I don't
no, he
know.
was
Like,
mad when he was yelling when he came and sat
he
back
was
down.
mad, but it's like Chris Rock got like ready for the slap, like he leans in, like he's like, or maybe I'm wrong, but like,
I think it's
whatever.
like as like an actor, you're probably like thinking like he's gonna fake it. But I think Will Smith just really just fucking hit him and just like walked away. And he was just like pissed off. I think that they already were boycotting the Oscars before, so there was already standing tension. And like the writers made that joke that's pretty distasteful. And he just fucking smacked him in the face in front
Yeah,
of
and then he
everyone.
wins Best Actor.
That was incredible. That was like a
Yeah, yeah.
double. He got to smoke the host in the face.
Like his emotions, he was an emotional roller coaster that day. Like it's like,
Yeah, and he wrote
yeah,
like, the apology or whatever. He says that it's not cool to be violent, but it's like, dude, if someone's talking shit about your wife, like you think I want to smack them? Fuck them. Like, I don't know.
yeah,
Violence isn't cool, but that was pretty badass. You kind of always wanted to see that, I feel.
yeah.
Like,
It's like I don't know. Like people, like sometimes you gotta like push a little to like let people know the boundary, right? It's not like he continued to try to harm him. It was just like kind of like a stop saying that.
yeah,
Like,
and he even went back and yelled at him. He didn't yell at him in his face. He smoked him once, walked away like a gentleman, and then yelled. It was crazy
yeah,
good.
yeah,
I didn't look at it for like a couple days because I'm not like a news fiend like that. I saw the memes of like him hitting, like, like everyone got the still frame of that, and I was just like, yeah, it's like a funny joke. Like, no way. And I was like, this is I don't know, I just didn't really care to react to it until Winnie told me about it today. And it's like, which it's happening, what, last night
yeah.
or the night
And that
before?
happened on Sunday, I
and,
think.
and
Yeah, Sunday. So the Oscars were on Sunday.
yes, so a couple days ago, we watched King Richard on the night when he won. We watched it on
Nice.
Sunday night then, and bro, did you see that movie?
No, I haven't. Where can I watch it?
I think we watched it on Apple TV or Amazon Prime, one of those two. It
Cool.
was so fucking good, man. Holy shit. It was so good. He really deserves it. And it was the story of Venus and Serena Williams from kids, and they're from Compton, and you know how much of an effort their dad Richard made. You know, they're raising like 5 girls, and 2 of them he just like decided were going to be the best tennis players of all time, and he manifested it through extreme discipline. Um, you know,
So
and
did he have like a background in tennis, or like was he just like, this is the sport I'm choosing?
they're both athletes. I think it definitely he was close to it enough to see that there was an extreme like white Caucasian element to the culture of it, and like I think that played a role in him wanting to break that, and that was fucking amazing. It was like you could see throughout the movie him steer away from the classic basic shit that's like, oh, the first check Nike hands you, freak out and say yes. You know, I mean, the girls actually made the choice. No spoiler alert here, sorry. But there's a couple really cool moves he made concerning like not going the traditional, just get bought out quick route. And yeah, it was a really tremendous story. I highly suggest it.
Cool. I'm gonna want to watch that.
Yeah. Okay, so I'll pull from a book here with some just a little wisdom of reading, and I'll just have you say which number. So, Phil, if you could please say a number between 73 and 215.
163.
163. Okay. This is Neville Goddard, Resurrection. 163. Freedom for all. Healing. Okay. Desired to be or possess. This you do now by feeling yourself to be the desirable state now. This dipping of the live bird into the blood of the bird that was killed is similar to the blessing of Jacob by his blind father Isaac. As you recall, blind Isaac could not see his objective world, his son Esau. You too are blind to your problem, the first bird, for you have removed your attention from it, and therefore you do not see it. Your attention, blood, is now placed upon the second bird, subjective state, and you feel and sense the reality of it. 7 times you are told to sprinkle the one to be cleansed. This means you must dwell within this new conception of yourself until you mentally enter the 7th day, the Sabbath, until the mind is stilled or fixed in the belief that you are actually expressing or possessing that which you desire to be or possess. At the 7th sprinkle, you are instructed to loose the living bird and pronounce the man clean as you fully impress upon yourself the fact that you are that which you desire to be. You have symbolically sprinkled yourself 7 times, then you are as free as the bird that is loosed.
Interesting.
There you go.
That was deep.
That was very
I'm
deep.
not even sure if I understood that.
So essentially, I pulled from these from wild books because they often align with conversations that we have on the podcast, and I definitely see a parallel there concerning becoming the thing you want to be, the persistence it takes to hold that vision of building entrepreneurial business or an endeavor or service that you build where you're the sole proprietor. It takes a lot of confidence, and it takes a lot of sustaining that vision. So I believe that's exactly what it's talking about. And it's funny that you said that everything for you is about freedom and being free, and it's freedom for all. So there's definitely some.
Yeah, so I like the title, Freedom for All, for sure. The sprinkling of the birds and stuff, I was like,
I know
I'm
that
confused
was
about that, but
that was some Bible story shit.
yeah. I was like,
That was
that's
like-
a little, I didn't really understand that, but
It must have been contextual
maybe it's like
from the time.
yeah, maybe sprinkling on birds. It's like, well, I had to sprinkle 7 times. That's a lot of sprinkles. So maybe just like persistence.
Yeah, I think they just make up reference stories to be relevant of the time. Like, why are you putting a bird in blood? Why does it have to be blood? Why does attention have to be blood? So I think, yeah, it's just like an outdated story, but essentially everything in between was saying kind of what we're saying about persistence, essentially, and continuing to build what you believe in. And you say the special sauce behind that is to care what you're doing and how you're serving people.
Yeah, genuinely, you have to be passionate about it, or like, because the odds are definitely against you. So if you're not passionate about it, it's very easy to just give up.
I sampled Steve Jobs pretty much saying those exact words in a song of mine called Keep Going.
It's really hard, and you have to do it over a sustained period of time. So if you don't love it, if you're not having fun doing it and you don't really love it, you're gonna give up.
I'ma keep going. I'ma keep going. Going for sure. I'ma keep going. Tell you for sure. I'ma keep going. Going. Don't tell me to quit. I'ma keep going, motherfucker. I've been down from the rip, yeah, from the pit. What you finna tell me, boy? I ain't finna quit. You ain't finna spit. I ain't finna hit every city that I hit. Yet I know I'm the kid. Everywhere.
That's
nice.
It's exactly.
Have you ever like listened to Jimmy Iovine talk? You know who Jimmy Iovine is?
Yeah, the Defiant one.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's a sick thing. And now he's like head of Apple Music, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah. What a guy. What a guy. He's at the beginning of this like Dr. Dre song from the Compton movies, all in a day's work or something like that. And his little intro is pretty good. I think it's like fear is a powerful thing if you can use it to push you, and then something like that. But it's a good little line that he has.
You can figure out a way to wrestle that fear.
Hear me now. Yo, dude, so awesome catching up with you. It was lovely to cover things in many arenas.
Yeah, you too, man. I'm glad you're doing well. It was destiny running into you on King in Portland.
Yeah, it felt special. It felt great to see you there again. I can't wait till we hang out in person again. Yeah,
it should be fun. I'm in the area pretty frequently, so we can probably set something up.
Yeah, for sure. Do you want to leave our fine folks that have listened to our Disciplined Stoners episodes together? Do you want to leave them with anything moving forward that you feel people need to know, or documenting this time? I don't know. I'm Phil. If you want to follow me on Instagram or wherever, it's always at Phil Kluba. So PHILKLUBA. If you want to build your dreams and stuff like that, I'd say my only advice is to kill the ego to build the dream, because you gotta let go of you gotta focus on the thing that's bigger than yourself. I love it. Thank you so much, brother. Thank you. Follow Phil. Guys, we'll see you soon, and meditate and demonstrate what you want to do. Much love. Bye, guys.
Disciplined Stoners. The gateway drug to mindfulness.
Gateway drug to mindfulness. Let's roll one.
Hey, Win!
Oh my. Yes.
We got a new thing.
Oh, right. We need to tell you about our new thing.
Support the show now on Patreon and get a bunch of private perks.